Welcome to the Business Podcast Show.
Welcome back, folks. What's
Episode
up?
4. Man, a lot of momentum coming on this one. Super excited. I was taking a look at some of our stats. We got people all over the nation already, even in some different countries.
TikTok, apparently, people are loving the audiograms.
Yeah, people loving the audiograms there. So that was, pretty big surprise. Have a good amount of loyal listeners already coming up on the 4th episode. So super excited for this episode. Before we get started, want to tell everyone to kind of jump onto our private Facebook group, Subscribers to Clients. If you want to learn and talk and interact with Ben and myself, just hop on to Subscribers to Clients on Facebook. You can either search for us or you can find our link to our Facebook group page in our bio or description below. So 100% reach out there. I'd love to see how we can help anyone start their coaching business and just get you on the right foot.
Absolutely. If you're on audio, subscribe on Apple or Spotify if that's what you're doing right now. And please leave a good review. That's always what we love. So we're talking today about mindset, to put it, in one word. But there's many, many words to go into mindset. Ben
and I love this portion of just like the different types of categories that we talk about. But we definitely wanted to hit our 6-step, 6-figure mindset. So Ben and I kind of touched base and was just like, what are the top 6 things that we feel just are the types of mindsets that you need to start any type of business, whether it's a coaching business, e-commerce, starting your recruiting agency?
Nobody I've ever known that's hit 6 figures, 7 figures, and built a business that's sustainable, making money, and is continuously, robust, has ever been comfortable, so to speak, right? So they're always somebody that's stepping outside their comfort zone. Always. These people are never comfortable. And you and I have talked at length about this, about how the second you're comfortable, the second you die. And I don't mean literally die, but I'm saying your income, your energy, your flow, all that stuff dies slowly, the second that you don't, get uncomfortable. That's why people are always saying, everything you ever wanted is right outside your comfort zone. You know what I mean? And I think it's more true than anyone could ever imagine.
For sure. And that's right into, number one, stepping out of your comfort zone. That's our number one. The first one out of the 6-figure, 6-step mindset is, stepping out of your comfort zone. Just like Ben just said, you don't grow just staying in a comfortable space. You have to step out of it. You have to step out of the unknown. In order for us to kind of be comfortable, is we don't grow. You're stagnant. And a lot of people, we're only human. We want to stay in our comfort zone. For introverts, they want to stay inside. They want to be in their comfort zone. They don't want to step out and grow and maybe interact with different types of people. So when you're starting your business, you're going to be, especially if you've never started a business before, it's the unknown. Mm-hmm. It's scary. Humanly, your human instincts don't want you to start a business.
Right. Yeah, your natural, everything about your natural instincts, your body, and your natural environment, right? Your parents, your friends, all the people around you, right? That kind of environment is not conducive to the first time business startup entrepreneur. That's not conducive. That's why people say surround yourself with the 5 most, productive people or the 5 people that challenge you the most, or the 5 people that are doing better than you, or they could all have, one different thing about them that you really need to be around them for. And that could be 3 people. It doesn't need to be 5 people. And listen, for some people that are actually introverts right now, pro tip on this, if you don't literally, we're in some weird times right now. So if you're not surrounding yourself with people physically or whatever, listen, you can like surround yourself with a ton of digital people, right? Like, Facebook groups, right? Okay. Like our Facebook group, subscribe as a clients. You can read books, right? Surround yourself with the authors of those books. Like be up in Tony Robbins' group, be up in Gary Vee's stuff. You know what I mean? Like these are the people you can actually surround yourself with without actually, that doesn't mean you need to literally be like, yo, Mike, let's go for ice cream every single day, man. You and me, we need to talk all the time. I need to really like get to know you so I can like understand business. But you can get to people from a distance too.
Yeah, and I think like it's just scary. It's scary. It's scary trying anything new.
Yeah.
The uncertainty of not knowing what's behind the door. That's scary. When you're first starting your business, when like for example, like say you want to, you've never ran a mile before, like you've never like put yourself out there and wanted to go test for yourself for a mile. And stepping into that, getting on the track, if you're not used to like being on a track or you're not used to like knowing the stretch and do the right things or like prep yourself, it's scary. Think about your first time. Like I remember my first time going into LA Fitness.
Right.
Like that was intimidating.
Right.
It's because it's the unknown. But now I treat it as like my second home. Like
right.
Being in the gym. So it's just like you always have to, if you want to grow, you want to try new things, you just have to step out of your comfort zone.
You got to step out of your comfort zone. It's an absolute must. What I think, diving into is it our third point, I guess, or second point?
Second point.
We're talking about running races.
Yep.
Run your own race, right? Like run your own race. Don't worry about anybody else. Put blinders on, you know what I mean? Horse races. For all the equestrian fans out there watching your what is it? What's the big race or whatever that happens in Kentucky?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Somebody check me out on that.
I can't
Somebody
think
check
of
that.
it either.
So horses literally wear blinders when they run around the track, all right? Because they don't get distracted that way. That's just the way horses work. And you have to do essentially the same thing, but don't literally wear blinders. But basically, from a metaphysical standpoint, you need to have a mindset where you're running your own race and you're not competing against anybody else but yourself, right?
Yeah, stop comparing yourself to other people. You don't know what level they're on. You don't know what opportunities they had in your life. So like, again, number 2, race your own race and stop comparing yourself to other people is like, why am I going to compare myself to the Jeff Bezos? Why am I going to compare myself to the Bill Gates? Like they're on a different level. They got to a certain point in their career, whether they got different opportunities and whatnot, but like, why am I going to compare myself to them? It doesn't matter what me or Ben, like if I'm starting a business, it doesn't matter what Ben is doing. It doesn't matter why am I so focused on Ben? I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be thinking about how other people think of me when I start my own business. I should only be thinking about my customer. Who's my customer? Who's my client? What can I do for them? Get those blinders on, do what you have to do, and just do it.
100%. There's no purpose. I've found absolutely zero reason. And I'm so passionate about this concept because from the inception of my, just being an entrepreneur, right? And going through that pathway, right? I've absolutely always thought about it as running my own race and doing my own thing and a no competition mindset because there's no purpose. Like what value do you actually gain from thinking about competition? Like, right? So in the recruiting world, right? I run a recruiting agency. In the recruiting world, I could sit there and think about how many other recruiting agencies, recruiting businesses, recruiters, etc. are in Seattle. I don't care. Why should I care? Tell me why I should care and I'll start caring. But I found no good reason why any of that data matters to me because honestly, all I care about is serving my clients the best and having them come back to me and exponentially just raising my growth and leveling up in recruiting as running my own agency, not the agency down the street.
I love that mindset. Like when I started selling iPhone cases on e-commerce, you think I was the first one to sell iPhone cases?
Right.
I wasn't.
the millionth.
Exactly.
Like,
I didn't care what anyone else thought. I ran my own race, and I was like, I think I found a hole in the marketplace, and I found myself an opportunity, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna create these custom designs and put it out there, and it blew up. So again, I didn't focus. I mean, there's a certain to extent where like, okay, I'm seeing what they're doing, and then I'm providing what I can differently. But then other than that, I don't care what they do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not trying to calculate how much they made last month.
right, exactly, and then beat that number because as if that means something.
Right.
Somebody makes $250,000, and then you make $230,000. Like oh man, I'm really stuck on that $20K. Like what?
Why does that
Like,
matter? Why are you paying so much attention to your competitors?
Right.
A lot of people, when they get stuck in this mindset when they start a business, is they're paying so much attention to their competitors that then they lose the focus that you need to have on your customer. Like, why are you doing 90% competitor, 10% customer? It should be the other way
Right,
around.
flip it around.
It should be 100% customer, 0% your competitor. Don't even worry about them. You can't control what they do. You can't. There's nothing that you can really control or even like worry about on that side. But what can you control? You can control your program. You can control your product. You can control how you present your business, what you offer. You can control how you interact with the things that you can control. That's what you should be paying attention to help your business grow.
Yeah, be all about that. Be all about what you can control, what you can add value to, not what other people are doing, how they're adding value, what their spin is on it. Like it doesn't matter. Just pay attention to what you're doing, what your value is. And at the end of the day, I think if everyone, or if you put two people side by side, right, and one person was putting 90% of their energy into competition. Oh my goodness, I got to beat out this guy, that girl, this girl, and the other person was focused 100% on just the customer, right? That person is going to win every single time, hands down.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And you have to have that mindset when starting a business. I think a lot of people, when they start a business, it's always like me. Like, what do I want to do? Like, well, how can I offer a great product? But you need to think like them, like your customer. Stop thinking about like, can I create content that I'm going to like to deliver? Am I going to create a good product that I will like to sell? No, it doesn't matter. You have to go with what the marketplace or what the market demands, and then you can create your offer there. So yeah, that's just one of the, again, I think like we beat it with a dead horse.
You got it right.
I really think, again, like racing your own race. Stop comparing yourself to other people who might be on a different level. They had different backgrounds, different opportunities to get where they are today.
Right.
So just because you see someone, driving around in that Lamborghini on the side of the street, you don't know how they got it. You don't know how they got there.
You have no idea how they got that Lamborghini.
And it doesn't matter.
It's so funny.
And it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the day that you get yours. Celebrate that day.
Yep.
Don't think about anybody else's day.
For sure.
I think one of the leading into our next point, one of the biggest myths in business, in entrepreneurship, I think in entrepreneurship really for, people as young as 13, 14, 12-year-olds probably, right? All the way up to 30, 40, whatever, is that there's get rich quick things out there. Anything. And the reason I say I can't even find a word, just get rich quick things. Everybody is looking for the get rich quick, right? Everybody wants the overnight success, like literally overnight. Like that's why I think lately or earlier this year, there was so much options trading, Forex, classes and courses and programs, and come join this, come join that, give me $500 and I'll get you $10,000 tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. And I was seeing all this stuff and I'm like, man, they're getting people good. Like, wow. Like, right. But there's no overnight. That's what you have to understand, right? Like people don't grasp this concept that it's not get rich quick. It's not get rich overnight. And this just leads us into our next.
And it leads us, into number 3, which is basically like consistency, what it takes. You have to go in it for the long run. If you focus on the short game, like basically the short game is like, yes, maybe some people can make like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 in the short game, get rich quick. Sure. Yes, take advantage of an opportunity when it's high demand, just like you said, with like stocks and trading and Forex at a little, maybe a good 2 or 3 months in time, right? But at the end of the day, 9 months down the road, you can't control that, and now your business is gone. Now you consistently don't get that 5, 10. So that get rich quick doesn't work in the long term,
No.
and you'll constantly, like in the e-commerce world, you'll just be chasing products. What's the next
Yep.
product? What's the new thing? So what's differently, like the way that you need to kind of be different is create a brand. Like that's the difference. I know we mentioned this before with like Nike and Adidas, but the whole thing with Nike and Adidas, they create a brand. They can't, like, you could cancel any one of their shoes. You could, any one of their shoes could have an issue, but like they have a brand. They
Right.
can put that Nike symbol on any type of product, and their brand is what brings the value. It's not this get rich get quick scheme or anything like that. Like you just mentioned
Right.
with stocks and whatnot.
Nike even coming out with their red devil shoes or whatever.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, and people writing articles and crazy stuff all coming out like Nike's gonna get tarnished, or Nike's gonna get smashed for this and whatever, or I'm gonna boycott Nike. How many times people try to boycott Nike, right?
They're too big.
They're too big. They've built a brand. It's rock solid. All they got to do is make those shoes kind of go away quietly, and they're probably still selling, by the way.
Yeah.
To whoever wants to wear like satanic shoes, but that's not my style, and I don't think it's yours. But like, bottom line is, at the end of the day, they've built a brand, and it's too big and it's strong, and Nike's been consistent since the inception, in 1960 whatever.
Yeah.
Someone fact check when Nike was formed, but right.
And that's even another thing I want to hit with like number 3, as far as like consistency is the key to success for everything, is, for anything and everything that you do, I really think like the key to success is consistency. Like if you want to be in shape, what do? Consistently every single day for a month straight, work out. But people, if I told you like that was the key to success, 9 times out of 10, people will still not do it.
Right.
And I'm telling you, if you go to the gym and you go 29 out of the 30 days, you're going to get in better shape.
Right.
But what stops people? It's the consistency. They don't have that drive to work on their business every single day. Like they're like, oh, it's not my passion, I can't start it. Or, oh, I hate sales and I hate copywriting and I don't want to do that. But like that's
Right.
business.
Right.
And you have to be consistently on it, getting better.
Yep.
So then sales and copy turns out to be like your favorite thing to do. Like I'm not going to sit here and say like I love podcasts. Like I love just doing podcasts.
Right.
But I love talking about business.
Exactly. Right. We have a blast sitting here talking about all like the 6 steps, right, in your mindset that needs to change to get you to a point where you're going to be making 6 figures, where that lives, right? For people. We're not going to talk about the 40 excruciating minutes we spent setting up tripods, cameras, various items and things in this room to film right now, right? Because we didn't enjoy that portion. But bottom line is, you knew we had to do it. I knew we had to do it. We set it up, and now we're podcasting, right?
We consistently come here once a week, hop on a podcast, and that's it. We commit to ourselves. It's like, I don't get excited driving 45 minutes up to the office to shoot a podcast. Like that
Right.
doesn't excite me. But once I get here, it's like, I know this is what it takes for our business to be successful.
Right.
This is a commitment that Ben and I made.
Right.
So we know that if we stay to it once a week and be consistent, again, the key word, consistency here, we'll get success. We'll get our followers. People will see that we're posting consistently on TikTok, on YouTube. Our videos out there, FYI. So find us on YouTube.
Right. YouTube. Yep.
Subscribe to us. Like we're on Mondays. Like we want to be very consistent to our loyal listeners. Like there's a commitment that we made here, and I think that's what like stops people. And I think you brought this up before, and I think it hit me different because you were talking about passion. And you talked about it like you hate it, like you hate matching like your like business or passion. And it wasn't until I was listening to a podcast when they were like, the definition of passion is like an uncontrollable emotional response. Who wants to relate passion and business to an uncontrollable emotional response?
Right.
That's horrible.
That sounds
You'll be
horrible.
all over the place. Ups and downs, ups and downs. And I mean, granted, we're all human, and I definitely don't think that we should match passion with you have to match business with like the demand and the need. So wanted to see like what your take was on like when you were describing passion in one of our episodes, a couple episodes before.
Yeah. Well, what gets at me, right, is because people will consistently say like people in leadership, even like in high places, right? I saw Steve Ballmer speak at the university I went to, and he was talking about, well, you got to follow your passion, you got to do this, you got to do that, and I'm sitting in the back like just like they had like some free Corona and stuff, and like we were just chilling, and me and my buddy, and we were listening to him speak, and he's like, you got to follow your passion, you got to do this, and you got to be passionate about it. I think Steve Jobs said the same thing, and all of that. And I just like, in my mind, I think people don't understand what passion really equates to, right? So I think that people believe they have to find and matchmake this heartfelt purpose like from their life so that they can make it their life's work. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't consider recruiting my life's work, right? Like, I enjoy the business, I enjoy people, and I enjoy the market aspect in recruiting. And you enjoy filling an arbitrage in the marketplace by basically utilizing your skills to run an e-commerce business.
You think my passion is just selling iPhone cases? Like, no, it's not. I love the business side of it. I love selling. I love putting a brand new product in the market. I love coming up with my advertisements and my sales copy and getting that sale. Like, that's what I love. But it's not like another example is like Charmin. You know, Charmin, like toilet paper.
Yep.
You think the owner of Charmin was like, he woke up one day and was like, I love toilet paper. That's my passion.
That's my passion.
I'm going to start Charmin. I'm going to do 2-ply instead of 1-ply. No, he saw an opportunity, saw a hole in the marketplace, and created this business. So that's all I'm saying is like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of like speaking down amongst anyone who, follows their passion and creates a business. I'm just saying, you trying to go down this rabbit hole of trying to find your passion and match it with business is, it's hard to do. Not everyone will find it. So all I'm saying is look for where there's an opportunity in the marketplace, find something that you enjoy doing, whether it's just business, whether it's coaching, whether it's, starting recruiting. Like, it's not necessarily like recruiting in itself. It's Ben's able to work with clients and get them to start their own recruiting agency. That's one side of it. And then the other side is like teaching people how to create their own recruiting agency. That's the part he enjoys. That's his passion.
Right. Those are the wins. Those are the wins at the end of the day when I've worked with somebody consistently, right, and instilled consistency within them to teach them how to create their own business in recruiting, watch them scale that business and make a ridiculous amount of money like over time, right? Or maybe make a moonshot real quick and make 6 figures. It's not often, but somebody can nail it and just go hit 6 figures in a couple months or whatever. But watching that happen, that's the win. That's the fun part. That's what keeps me coming back and keeps everything going. But like, I just want to smash to pieces this like, you got to follow your passion. I just think it's like empty words for people that kind of just don't know what to say.
Like a dreamer. Like, we're doers. I mean, there's a time and place for a dreamer. Like, you can dream certain things, but like, that's if you want to just read like motivational books and it's just talking about dreaming.
Right.
But like, when you're in the business game, like, you can only dream for so long and you got to start putting things into action.
Right.
Like, take that dream, break it down. So say your dream's 6 figures. It's kind of daunting to look at 6 figures for what it is. But if you broke it down in small pieces and was like, okay, technically that's $10,000 a month, maybe less. Like, it's really like what, $9,000 a month.
Yeah, 8,000.
How many clients would that take if you started your coaching business? Like, if you were selling at 1,000 or 2,500, so like maybe 3 or 4.
3, 4
So
clients,
technically, only 3 or 4 people a month can get you to your dream of that 6 figures. So you're telling me that you can't convince or have a value to present or teach or show 3 to 4 people,
Right.
I think I beg to differ.
Right.
You can.
And tell me how that looks after 1, 2, 3 months when you've mastered things and you got to a point where you're charging double and you need half the clients that you actually want.
Now you only
to
need
hit
2
6
clients.
figures? 2 clients.
2 clients
right?
a month. So you need to, out of all the billions of people in the world, that's like, again, we're going back to Ben's YouTube, 13,000 subscribers. 100% that is super hard to do nowadays as far as like, and it's a lot. 13,000 is a big number, but if you look in like the holistically, there's a lot of people with like million subscribers. So the only reason why I'm referencing this is because like you don't need even 13,000 subscribers to get 2 clients
Right.
a month.
Right.
You don't even need 5,000. Technically, if you just had 1,000 subscribers who you were following you,
Yeah.
and just like love the content that you push out, whether it's on TikTok, on YouTube, on a podcast, you can capture 1 to 2 clients a month.
I had about 4,000 to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe even less, maybe somewhere like 3,000, when I was averaging 20 clients a month. 20 clients a month, charging somewhere in the 3,000, 3,500 a client mark, and averaging 20 clients a month. And then since then, of course, prices have I've raised my price and all of that stuff and everything, and how I do my program. But that was 4,000 subscribers, like on YouTube. Now, just imagine, if you created an audience somewhere else, if you created multiple audiences, if you were big on Facebook and a group and doing other things, like, there's just so many avenues to build out your dream. And it's never as hard as you think it is, right? When you do exactly what we're talking about, which is one day at a time. You know what I mean? Snowball effect.
And coming back full circle, number 3, consistency.
Yep.
If you guys saw how consistent Ben was posting, I mean, go look up Ben Nader right now on YouTube and see how many videos he has. He has over almost 500 videos.
Yeah, almost 500.
When he first started, I'm telling you guys, he was putting out content once a day.
Every day. Yep.
For about how consistent were you putting daily content?
That was like 2 years.
2 years.
I think about.
Now
Yeah.
you tell me he doesn't have work ethic. And that's what it takes. And some people would have stopped within month 1.
Yeah.
Some people would have stopped within month 2.
Right. This
And
is too
Ben didn't
hard.
see the ROI until maybe a year and a half.
Years later.
And
yeah.
now he's reaping the benefits of having 500 videos on YouTube right now that are consistently, you haven't technically posted a video in how many months?
4 months.
He hasn't posted a video in 4 months because he's getting too many people.
Yeah.
He had to almost stop the water flow a little bit.
Right.
Just so he can catch up and give his current students quality.
I literally got too busy with the program, delivering value to basically be on YouTube consistently. And that's the, you got to move things around on your plate. And that's what happened. Right. You got to be the palm tree, not the oak tree. And that's kind of how that went with YouTube. But
And that time where you were gone, these 4 months, I think you still got about 1,500 to 2,000 subscribers.
I believe I have for sure.
Because your
yeah.
videos are just doing the work. And that's what people don't see is you're doing the work all up front.
Yep.
And it's hard. It's demoralizing sometimes when you're just seeing videos and you're only getting 1 or 2 views or 3 or 4 views. And
Right.
all you need is that one video to get a little bit of virality, get
Yeah.
a little viral.
Right.
And then it pushes on all your other videos. And now it's literally you have 400 plus videos just constantly working for you, getting you clients.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that's, again, a big reason that comes from that is consistency.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't say it better. It's absolutely being consistent. And if you don't have that as part of your regiment, you're going to fail. I mean, it's without a doubt. You've got to be consistent. The people that succeed that I teach and coach and consult, they're consistent. Those are the winners, right? And you would say the same thing, right?
100%.
Right.
It seems so basic, but people still won't do it.
Right.
And that's why I think even having a coaching program or joining a mentorship program, it's the accountability.
Yep.
Having someone it really does help. Like I used to have like a trainer who would like get on me about like going to the gym,
Yep.
or I have my therapist to like get on me about like my emotional state and like
Yep.
just, you know, being just my mental health and whatnot. Like, but like why, when you start a coaching or like start a business, people shy away from getting a mentor.
Exactly.
People like that's weird to me.
Which
Just,
is too funny. 'Cause, yeah, it's just like,
you have it for all other aspects of your life, but when you
Right.
talk about business, we're like, whoa.
right.
I don't want to pay a couple $1,000s for a mentorship program to work with
Right.
such and such.
I know it's public school and it's paid for through taxes, but if you graduated high school, listen, you spent 12 years under many, many mentors and coaches, okay? They're called teachers, all right? And what they did is teach you everything you know about pretty much anything, right? Otherwise, you would have a kindergarten education. You wouldn't know how to read or write and understand concepts, right? So if you now want to pivot into a business, like a specific thing, find yourself a coach that does that, and they're going to do exactly what 12 years of education did for you, probably in like 6 months or less, working with you specifically on that business to make money, not just to teach you gas versus liquid, right? You know what I mean?
I think that's the biggest thing. I know we're still stuck on number 3 here, but I just love this consistency that we're talking. But it's like, I feel like the biggest difference when I started my business or businesses was finally getting a mentorship, getting a mentor. Like Ben will tell you here, like, I mean, I don't know if he wants to quote exactly how much you pay your mentor, or like me signing up for Ramit Sethi's program.
Yeah.
I paid about $2,500 plus.
Yeah.
And that was only one of his programs to get a mentorship to kind of tell me like what type of business. Not until then, not until I invested in myself did I actually see results in my business.
Right.
Where I actually had someone say, Michael, that app idea was stupid. Why did you waste $10,000 on that? Like,
Yeah.
you need someone to tell
Right.
you that, or else, again, like then tried the media-based company.
Yep.
Failed horribly. If I had a mentor, he would have been like, you're crazy for doing that. So like,
Right.
can you go into how like mentorships kind of like was the turning point for you of just like
Yeah.
listening to other people who've gone through something that you want to achieve and already been there, done that?
Man, it's so crazy. I mean, like I have a coach, coach/mentor. He's really more of a coach on like all aspects of my life, but not like a life coach in that sense. It's much different. But we focus a lot on business, what I'm doing, in my business life and my business world, and how things are, progressing and what I'm doing and what I should do, shouldn't do, this and that. But also, we hit on mindset a lot. That's a reason why we're talking about it today, because it's super important. So, if you follow the wisdom, it goes all the way up to every single coach you could ever have. I pay my coach multiple thousands of dollars every single month, and they're worth twice that value, 3 times that value. The value, literally, when I started taking coaching and mentorship seriously, you saw it. I think you saw it. You watched it.
Yeah.
Like you could see it happen. I think.
I saw it evolve because like seeing Ben before that and then after, his gains and like as far as like his business was like it went 100x. And I'm literally not saying 100x.
Yeah, that's not a joke. That's like
it really did go 100x. It was crazy because like even with his videos, he was being consistent and posting out videos, but I think like maybe his like first 2 months he didn't know exactly what we were doing. Like when I was doing my YouTube, I didn't exactly know what he was doing, but then our mentors was like, hey, go this direction, go that route, and then that's when I saw his subscribers go from 1,000 to 8,000, from 8,000 to 13,000, and it's
climbing.
It's going so crazy now that he literally had to stop posting videos because he's a one-man show. Like
Right.
he does everything himself. Like he is the salesperson. He is the copywriter. He is everything for his
Right.
business. So, and who's the most important person or the most important thing in his business? His clients.
Yeah.
So he got to a point now that he just wants to focus more on his clients, that he hasn't even been able to put out a YouTube video.
Right.
And that's the other thing, is I'm going to make him go back into, it's like us
Exactly.
working together. It's like,
Right.
hey, Ben, you need to get back on YouTube.
Right.
Like, you need to consistent. And he knows that, and
Yep.
he knows what it takes, and he'll be there.
Yep.
So that's just a little sneak peek for everyone. He will be back on YouTube for all the people who's already following him.
Right. But that's a real story about me and my progression and with coaching and mentoring. And like literally it's that realness and that 100%, value that you get from somebody that has no attachment to you. Like they don't have any attachment to you to tell you. They don't want to be sensitive, or if you find someone that's being too sensitive and they don't really want to tell you, hey, what's up? Listen, that's a bad mentor, bad coach. If it's going to be somebody that's going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, though, that is the person you need to listen to, because your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, your mother, your parents, everybody, these people do not want to tell you, let's be real. Some family members, all right, they'll tell you, like, Michael, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? But in reality, most of these people in your life, your friends and stuff, they want to be soft, right?
They want you to be safe.
They want you to be safe because they are, like you said last week, I think they have taken that route. So they think you can only take that route too.
They're only like your family members again, like, and majority of them, maybe not be entrepreneur. Like they never followed that journey. So like all they know is like working the 9 to 5 because it is the safe route. You go to work, you put in 9 hours, you get paid. There's no risk in that. There's a risk that you might lose your job, but there's always another job that you could possibly get.
Right.
Starting a business, there's so much uncertainty. There's so much unknown. You can work for 6 months straight and not get a single dime for it, but it's like a delayed effect. And that's going into like number 4. This is a Gary Vee quote. Take micro speed and have macro patience.
Ooh,
when we talk
that.
about that, it's like, again, when he took micro speed, Ben was posting on a daily basis, but he needed to have macro patience because he believed and he had faith that, hey, based on what my mentor said, if I just stay consistent, I give great content that people would love to share and that they actually learn from, I'm giving them real information, it would blow up. And he believed in himself so much for 2 years, guys, straight, every single day posting. And it led to this. So like, I think we live in a world of instant gratification. Immediately, if you have a question, Google. I'll know my answer in 3 seconds. I want to watch a movie. Pull up Netflix. Boom. Streaming. I don't have to go to Blockbuster anymore. And if you don't know Blockbuster, then
you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know what Blockbuster is. Maybe we have a huge age gap difference here.
Shout out to the back doors in Blockbuster.
Shout out to Blockbusters. Instant gratification. You didn't have to drive up to that video rental store and waste that time. So we're mentally in tune or like programmed now for instant gratification. So when we go to the gym and we've gone there for one day, we're like, why didn't I get that 6-pack? Why am
I not shredded?
Exactly. Or I started a business and in 30 days I'm like, why am I not making 6 figures yet? There's a level of patience that you need to have,
right,
and believe in yourself in order to kind of see it through and give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly going off after shiny object syndrome, just like there's so many things, and especially on the internet, that gives false information, so you don't know who to technically trust because, again, it's a low entry level barrier to starting any type of business or putting out content there. You'll see like, oh, do TikTok. Oh, do YouTube. Do this.
Yeah. Where's Vine? Where'd that go?
Do hashtag. Yeah, where's Vine? And then you're constantly changing that you didn't give any of it a chance.
Right.
You tried it for a week and you didn't give it a chance. Ben, again, and I know I keep going back to this, but he was just, again, consistent on one platform.
Yeah.
And I think you can find success if you're consistent on any platform. Like, be consistent on Instagram. Be super consistent.
Yo.
And then you'll see ROI come at a later time if you're patient.
Right. 100%. And that quote by Gary Vee is like, absolutely like golden wisdom, like micro speed, but macro patience. And you're right. That's exactly why I executed the way I did, and the way that you did, in a way too, with your business. But literally just seeing what was going to happen miles and miles out, I mean, literally, like, it's like, man, I got a quote for everything, right? So
I love them.
The one that hits this different will be, you could drive from Los Angeles to New York City in the dark dead of night, only seeing the first 200 feet in front of you.
I heard this one before, and I love this.
Yep. Isn't that the sauce? Because literally, what else do you need? Just the first 200 feet. And then you see the next 200 feet and the next. And like, that's literally micro speed, macro patience. You're going to go all the way across the country, but you're driving at night. You can't see anything. One of the things a lot of people don't know about Michael, maybe they do from, I forget, in our first episode, is you're a pilot. So Michael's a pilot, and you know how to, like, dude, how do you even fly? Like, you fly in like the dead of night. You can't see anything. You're in clouds. Like, how do you do that with instruments,
For sure. No, I forgot to even mention that. I think I did mention that in episode 1. Sometimes I even forget myself. It's like,
yeah. You're like, wait a minute, I can fly this plane.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, obviously that was like, I feel like me being a pilot is an example of what everyone thought they wanted to do or be in like high school and went to college and majored in, but then definitely pivoted.
Right. You pivoted into entrepreneurship for sure. Right. Yeah. You got a pilot license. You can fly planes. Yeah, right. I got not like he's an actual, like he flies planes now. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have my commercial pilot's license. I have like my certified flight instructor rating, instrument rating, which means I can fly in clouds. Basically, I've taken like my family up and we'd flown around, like flown to ocean shores just for like lunch and whatnot. So again, like I had to go through 4 years of that. And like, right out of high school, I was like, I had to make up my mind. Like I had to figure out what I want. I didn't want like a general education as far as like a business degree. I wish I did if I had gone back. And I think a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends that also like either went to school and wanted to be a doctor, or they wanted to go to school and, major in physics and then like totally pivoted. So like, I definitely feel for people, like follow like what you want to do. Like, do what you want to do. I think when I wanted to be a commercial pilot, like I was thinking about like, how can I find a career that would like make my parents proud immediately? Right. And I was like, well, I'm not great at being a doctor. Like I know like that's not my thing. That's too much schooling. So I was like, cool. My parents can't really, like I have Asian parents, so they can't be like, sure, that's not going to work. So I was like, then I was like, a lawyer, not really into law. I was like, what's the next like best thing that like, right. And really that's how I was like, I kind of want to be a pilot. So like, right. I just want my parents to show me off. And then now I was living in someone else's dreams. I was living in my parents' dreams to kind of just like have them a reason to like be proud of me. Yep. And then there was just, when I graduated, I was just like, it was 4 years of this, and I was just like, I don't want to be a pilot anymore. Right. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go this route. So it was a huge turning point for me for just like, again,
pivoting out of somebody else's,
out of this mindset of like what I just like trying to make other people happy. Yeah. And like that's the one that we're talking about, like racing your own race. Yeah. Stop worrying about what other people are thinking, and just like at the end of the day, like when you're on your deathbed, and I don't want to be too morbid here, right? But like when you're on your deathbed, like I love my parents, but are you gonna say, "Oh, did I do that to make my parents happy?" Yeah. Or are you gonna go and sit there and say, "Man, I'm so glad I did that, or I did do this because I wanted to do it." Right. So then that whole mindset steered me right into business and why I like love to do it. I mean, it's a cool accolade to have in my back pocket and be like, hey, I'm a pilot, and I love it 100%. Right. I love the idea of going but I think it's just a good example of like what other people try to like initially start. Like you wanted to be you majored in
political science, and I was looking into law school, right? And that was going to be my pathway, and that was honestly me too, thinking about how can I look like I'll be something that other people will respect.
Worrying what other people thought.
Right. And parents as well. I mean, obviously not as hardcore as the Asian parents, okay? But you know what I mean? half, I'm half Lebanese, so half Middle Eastern. We got that kind of going on. But I mean, so my dad was all about law school still. But at the end of the day, I was like, man, there's so many unemployed lawyers like right now. Like this was 2011. And I was like, well, I got my political science degree. I've got, I've got law school as an option, but then I just pivoted and I started, just kind of like literally getting into business, and these little ventures and things I was trying, like gave me that taste and that hunger. And, when you do something and it resonates with you and you feel it, that's when I feel like you really know you're an entrepreneur. Like, but you got to feel it. And like for people, I think that are listening, like, wondering like, hey, am I really an entrepreneur? Like, I don't know, feel it out, try it out, check it out, see how it'll go for you. Right. So, some people it's not for you. Some people it's going to be for you. But the thing is about entrepreneurship that's so cool is that it can be for everybody if you just simply utilize tools, utilize mentorship, utilize a coach, somebody to help guide you and all that kind of stuff. I think we're way off on our
I think that honestly goes perfectly into number 5, taking ownership from your results and your mistakes. So like taking ownership in our major at that time, like me being a pilot, like do you know how hard it was to like come up to myself or look myself in the mirror and say like, I don't want to be a pilot anymore, but I did this for 4 years. I dedicated 4 years of my life and I don't want to do this anymore. Right. And I want to pivot because I just didn't see myself, like I'm a family person and I love being around my friends and my family. And the idea of not being home every day or like being gone for months on end. And obviously like you have to work your way up your ranking to get a good schedule when you're a pilot.
Yep.
You might be flying to nothing on Alaska. Like you might have to be, you might have the route to Alaska for the next 5 years. And it's just like, I don't see that rewarding to me. So like, I just had to take ownership of that and just say, hey, I'm going to do what's best for me.
Right.
I'm going to pivot in the direction with everything I have at the moment, with all the decisions I've made before me. Like I took all that into consideration and was like, okay, I need to do something that's going to make me happy at the end of the day. And honestly, business and like just starting a business, any type of business, like it's such my passion. I know we're not even trying to go into like being passionate, but like it really is like there is like this uncontrollable emotional response to it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I can separate it, make it objective, and just talk about like analytically, talk about the numbers, talk about how to get customers. Like that also excites me. So it's like find yourself, like when we go back to it and we're talking about like finding yourself a coach, and maybe it's not me or Ben one day, like hopefully it is, but like find someone who's been where you want to be. So again, like our route might not exactly be where you want to be.
Right.
But find someone who's already been there, who's gone through all the trials and tribulations to get where they are, and then know that it can be repeatable, and then just follow that success. I just think that's like 100% like one of the best ways to take a look at, pivoting.
Absolutely. I think the point you mentioned, the number 5 on our list about taking ownership, right? I see this as like a really, really big one for people because it's a maturity thing. Like it's as an entrepreneur, you've got to mature. And when you do mature, you'll understand that things that you do happen because of you a lot of the times, right? I believe life is happening for you, and not to you. I think it's happening for you, for your creation, for what you want to do with it. So, every possibility is there. You just have to go down whatever rabbit hole you want to go down, whatever you want to build out, what you want to do. And what I think is really, really fascinating is you get this sense of ownership once you've started to accomplish things, and once you've really gotten into it, you're like, whoa, like I did that, I did this, I failed here, so I'm going to fix that, right? Because you have to own what you actually do to be a successful entrepreneur and a business, right? That's a big part of it, I think. So taking that like almost radical ownership I think is really, really important on the flip side of what you were talking about.
Yeah, and like taking ownership again is just like I had to swallow my pride when that keychain breathalyzer business didn't like pop off, or
Gulp.
exactly. You have to,
Yeah.
or like my iPhone app, or your e-commerce business. I know for a second,
Yep.
Ben wanted to start an e-commerce business just because he saw the way I was doing things and was like, hey, I want to jump on it. So
Yep.
he gave it a try, and like sound effects. That was not true. That was Ben doing the sound effects, FYI.
Yep.
But yeah, Ben just had to take ownership of that. And like, it was his, when you start a business, it's your baby. And it's hard to like take ownership and be like, okay, it's a failure, but it's not only a failure, but it's a mistake and a learning that you're like, okay, I need to find something where I can be profitable within 30 days or 6 months and whatnot. So maybe that Uber app that's similar that I want to create isn't the best bet at the moment, or risky, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like focus on a business that like you can get ROI a lot quicker than maybe trying to start like your new social media app. You know what I mean?
Totally know what you mean. And to speak directly to the e-commerce business that I had started, so it was called Rain City Retail, and we are podcasting live from Seattle, Washington. So Rain City is how we refer to our lovely city, where it gets rainy 9 months out of the year. Yeah.
Maybe even 10.
Maybe even 10. So basically have fun with that. But raincityretail.com, where I basically had print on demand merchandise, like cool shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff, like random things about the Pacific Northwest and about Seattle. And so I built out a beautiful Shopify store with an awesome theme. Somebody like gifted me like a $300 theme, and it was super cool. So anyways, I set that up. I put everything together. I did the print on demand stuff real nice. I mean, I got the designers from Fiverr. Like I did everything to the T. Now, here's where I'm going to take ownership of messing up. What I didn't do right was the full follow through on my Facebook ads and on getting traction for customers, right? So I created a couple Facebook ads. I took a course, right? Got a mentor on Facebook ads that I wasn't talking to this mentor because it was a cheap course. It was a $9.97, little starter beginner thing. And basically I was just learning, here's how to set up an ad, here's how to target, here's how to do your pixel, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was setting up these ads, and, I was doing like the ones where, it's like an array of multiple pictures, video ads. I was doing, solo picture ads. But it came down to the point where like there was a certain level where I just dropped the ball, right? So I will own that I dropped the ball on the ads and basically turned it into the point where I was like, I'm just not really pushing this, and I'm just going to drop my grip on it. And I did that because I was like, at this point, I'm going to drop my investment here and move forward. And that's what I did.
And it's like going into that even a little more is like you get what you give.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
This is one of the things that like I knew Ben was taking it the safe route by doing like print on demand, but I was definitely trying to steer him in the way of like, hey, maybe you order the product, maybe you like have a customized, so like now you can take those shirts and like create like have like real photos of the product, because he was basically like slapping on it like photoshopping into like the different. So like when I say like you get what you give is just like, he did go a certain route that's even a little more difficult, because like how can you separate yourself from your competitors if you're just doing print on demand and whatnot? But like again, like Ben's taking ownership of that, like, and him having me as a mentorship in e-commerce back then, like that's what I would have told him.
Right.
And I told him, but then still like that's just what he didn't want to do.
Right.
Like he knew he didn't want to do that in the long run, but I guarantee if he stayed committed to that, and I was like, hey, Ben, pivot here.
Right.
Actual order the product from a supplier, so you have the actual product, and then take, like real professional photos, have a photographer, have like lifestyle images. I guarantee he would at least saw someone a little bit of success, and like who knows who that would have pivoted from that. But obviously it led him to where he is today, where he took, again, ownership of that mistake or that learning period, and then pivoted and was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and just like go back to recruiting 100%. And then that blew up. And then what led to recruiting? Teaching people how to start the recruiting. So again, it's just like everything happens for a reason.
Right.
But that's where like my input would come from. It's just like you get what you give.
Right. Yeah. And if I had taken it to a level where I was like, you know what, I want to rope Mike in as a full on coach here, and I'm going to bring him in and bring him on as an actual paid consultant, you know, coach, mentor, all of it. He would have sat with me, divvied up the Facebook ads, told me exactly what he just said, make lifestyle photos, do this, do that, set them up like this, run it to this targeting. You're right. I would have gained traction. I would have gotten up to your level, right? You know, because I basically lost like, I don't know, $2,000 on everything I was doing. And Mike started e-commerce and did $1.1 million
Exactly.
in the same time frame. So like, you know, different strokes, different folks. But I didn't go through, you know, and consult somebody who'd been there, done it, and knew how to get it up there, right? And that's just the craziness of what could have been. What could have been.
And it's crazy because like you telling me that, like I've been there, done that, and that was a little tweak that I could have told you to now see success.
Right.
But like other people, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need a coach. I can YouTube it.
Yeah.
I can learn myself. And don't get me wrong. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
But it's a long journey and a long route because there's a lot of content out there. And how do you decipher which one to follow? How do you decipher like who's? So all I'm saying, and again, it's not me or it's not Ben specifically.
Yeah.
But when you listen to someone, take a look at their track record. Take a look.
Correct.
Like if they can literally, like he just gave me a little glimpse of what he did in his e-commerce business, and I was able to say like, oh hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and he's like, that's what I should have done looking back.
Right.
Because I've been there, done that, and you
Yep.
as a coach is like recruiting, or like now we're starting our own coaching business, and like we already, you know, we're what we want to do is like have other people create their own coaching business, but like when it comes to that, it's like we know the marketing side of things. We know how
Yep.
to push content. We know how to create great content and get subscribers on
Build
YouTube
audiences.
and whatnot. Build
Right.
audiences.
Create a brand.
Exactly. There's so many things that now are applied to creating a coaching business. But no, I just love that you mentioned that your e-commerce story and just like being transparent to everyone.
Yeah, man. I mean, like that's exactly how it went. And like, you know, honestly, like I believe it for sure happened for a reason that way, because that just wasn't going to be my thing. Whatever, that's fine. And, you know, at the end of the day, like you mentioned also that, hey, can somebody just go on YouTube and be like, let me figure out how to run Facebook ads? Like, honestly, you can if you're really, 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 really smart. And I do mean really, 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 really smart, right? I'm not even kidding about that, right? Because one of the questions that I get asked so often, because I do a ton of YouTube about recruiting and how to set up a recruiting agency, is, well, Ben, why would I go through your program? And what's different between that and if I just watch 500 YouTube videos that you've got online? My answer is, well, I'm not going to be your coach. You know what I mean? Like, and that's all I have to say. Like,
Such a big, but that's like such a big difference.
It's massive. Like, you know, it's
to be able to hop on a
huge.
call with you or me and
Yeah.
just be like, hey, this is what I did specific to your business, because it's not just like download a digital course, watch
Yeah.
these 6 modules and
And
you'll
be-
be a professional at Facebook ads. No,
Right.
it's like, hey, hop on a phone call with myself or Ben and like we can see exactly what business you have, like
Right.
who, like decipher it and then tell you the right direction to go to.
Right.
So like I even think like this goes into our last one right here, our last six-figure mindset.
Yeah.
Fumbling over here. Number 6,
Struggling.
having an abundant mindset and having that coach or anyone just tell you that like the world is yours. I know it sounds kind of cheesy,
Goosebumps.
but it really like I get excited about this.
No, I get excited about this. This is one of my favorites, man. I mean, and when we decided to put this on the list, this is like, I was like, oh, that's the cut. Like, that's the cut. And literally the cut, because we're going to cut in about like a couple minutes. But having a mindset of abundance, oh my God. Like, you know, okay. Like, tell me you want to be rich without telling me you want to be rich. Like,
I've seen that TikTok trend.
right? Yeah. You caught on? Okay. So, those who walk around and just speak abundance, you know, in their life, have abundance in their life. Those who go around and speak the opposite, which is scarcity AKA I don't have anything, I can't do anything, that's not possible, I can't, that kind of thing. That's all scarcity, right? That will get you nowhere. FYI, I'm going to ruin the movie for you, but like scarcity mindset, yeah, like that's not going to work. That'll be 9 to 5 for life. And if that's you, that's okay. 9 to 5, we're not hitting on that. But like the bottom line is, if you think paycheck to paycheck is what it's all about, that's cool. If you think abundantly, more like, man, I'd love to have like, an $80,000 month. I think that would be killer. You have an abundant mindset, my friend. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I love, this is why me and Ben connect so much, because when we talk about our mindset and like the abundance of like what we want and what we feel we deserve, again, it's not like the cockiness of saying like, oh, we deserve this, we deserve that. It's just
it's not arrogant at all.
No, it's like that confidence in ourselves where like, no, if I put my mind to it, I can do this. Mm-hmm. If I put in the work and I stay consistent and I believe in myself, I can do it. Sometimes it's a little bit harder because as an entrepreneur, again, entrepreneurs are rare. They're not majority. So if you go and talk about your new business again to your parents who have no idea what entrepreneurship is, sometimes, like again, those type of parents, or like your friend who just like wants to do the 9 to 5, why are you going to get advice from people that don't know that life or don't know that? So like when you say like $80K a month, they'll be like, nah, that's too good to be true. Where me and Ben know a few people that do 6 figures on a monthly basis
regularly.
And now we see that abundance mindset. And I just think, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I don't think like $10,000 a month used to be a limiting factor, a limiting mindset factor. And then now it's like, okay, how can I get 20,000? How can I get 30,000? But if you really break it down and you just think that like, I just really feel like everyone deserves anything and everything they want as long as they put the work in. Like I truly, truly believe that. And anything, like if that's, you wanting to travel the world, or you having the money to like take care of your friends and your family. Again, like me and my Asian background, like I want to like take care of my parents. Like they sacrifice so much for me, where I want to make enough money that they can live like a happy and like just a good retired life because they took so many risks for me. So again, it's that abundance of mindset. Like I want to give. And in order to give, you have to create something. You have to create a business. You won't be able to give a lot with just a 9 to 5. Unless, I mean, obviously you're like Jeff Bezos and your stocks are how many millions and billions, I should say, then, he did it. But again, he started a business. Right.
Even after the divorce. But no, like, we won't touch that. But we will touch on abundance. What you get, you get what you give, like you said earlier, right? And this is going to get real interesting because, like, we'll probably talk about this more, but, Mike touched on something that was super fascinating, which was the aspect of, like, giving, you know what I mean? And you want to give to your parents. I want to do the same thing. My parents, blessed me with putting me through 4 years of full ride university, paid for, done. No questions asked. Like, I am so blessed. You know how many people have the student loans strapped to their back? I don't.
It's me.
You're right. So
had to go that route.
You had to go that route.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so blessed because of that. And I definitely want to be able to take care of my parents, give them, things they deserve. Right. And having an abundance mindset is the only way you can do that, right? If you have a scarcity mindset, you're thinking thoughts about like, oh, I can't even afford to take care of myself. How am I going to take care of anybody else, right? And let me give a pro tip. One of the ways that you can get is by giving, right? And this is just a simple concept, right? When you give knowledge, money, wisdom. I mean, if you give somebody a leg up, something, whatever, the more that you are open with your giving, the more you tend to get, in dividends, right? That's just kind of how it works. And it's kind of like a little known aspect of like, you know, business really, I think, and I guess just, you know, life. But when people give, like, you know, they get that back. There's a reason people talk about karma, you know, and that stuff's real. Like, and thinking in an abundant mindset is only going to serve you, you know, all the way through your business ventures.
And I think, like, to close it up is basically, like, that's why we started this podcast. Like, yes, we wanted to talk about e-commerce, you know, myself. And yes, you wanted to talk about recruiting, but like we wanted to start a podcast to like talk about these things, talk about the mindsets, talk about giving what the journey that we went through. So hopefully someone and out there kind of listens and maybe, you know, gets inspired to create or start their own business. Like that's what it's all about. It's like, how can we find a platform to just share our thoughts about business again, because that's something we love to do. And yeah, man. I mean, like, that's what it's all about. Like, so if people want to follow more, which I highly suggest people follow more, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Apple, Spotify, please just go ahead and sub on there. Leave us a review. Other than that, check out again our private Facebook group. Again, sign up onto that and interact, talk with me and Ben.
Yep.
Again, we want to continuously give. So if you hop on there and you ask a question, or if you have any other topics on what our next episode should be.
Yeah, you come in the group, you tell us what you want us to talk about. We'll talk about it. Like, we're open books. Join subscribers to clients on Facebook. We'll get you in there, and then, you know, other than that, I mean, I think we're good.
I think that's a cut for episode 4.
All right.